passband tuning, but to eliminate that issue, I would eliminate the desired conversation.
Yeah, they're still there. I hope they got a good power supply.
Well, if that's a tuner-upper out there, do you wish to join the Collins Collectors Association? Give me a call, W7MS.
You start identifying, but this is WI6R.
Well, hi, Dave. Good evening. What's happening in Arizona?
Well, we're just enjoying the warmer day today. This time last week we had snow. It, of course, had completely melted after about 4 days, but we definitely like the 55-degree weather today versus the 20s.
I totally understand. It's been... it's not an unusual winter, but we've had a few years of drought conditions and relatively mild temperatures, so it's been quite a wake-up call for me. I had a low this week of 0, and it's generally been in the single digits, and I think Sunday night, Monday night, we're going to probably be below 0, so it certainly kills the heating budget.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does that. Fortunately, our new house is extremely well insulated. Our utility bills are at least a third of what they were just across town.
I totally understand new construction, and I observed some of the homes in this area. And when you see the snow leave the roof, that's pretty good indication of lack of insulation. I mean, I've still got 6 inches on my shingles, but the house across the street is bright and shiny. It tells you something, snow melt.
Yes, it does. Anyway, it was nice having a little light white blanket last Thursday night, but it's really, really nice in the sun with no breeze. It was quite nice today. So we're running the old S3 line tonight to our open link vertical. You're 30 over 9 tonight.
Okay, great. Yeah, some really loud signals here on the West Coast, here in about 75. But Wayne, what's new for you? What's the latest project? KB60QJ W7MS.
Hi, Mike. This is Wayne, KB60QJ up in Santas. Not a whole lot going on. Getting older, so we've had a lot of doctor's appointments between me and my wife, but we're doing okay. Not doing so much on the gopher hunts this year. I've been paying a guy that comes along with a truck and they inject carbon monoxide into the tunnels, and seems to be helping, and it's a lot easier. I don't get tired of climbing up and down hills on the yard here. Other than that, let's see, I'm getting back into a little 3D printing. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm getting fired up again. And still working on my shuffle bowling. I've got it pretty much working, but got to restore some of the artwork and the paint on it. It's not going to be factory new, but it'll look decent. So that's what's going on here. KB60QJ.
Well, thank you, Wayne. Good signal, and glad to see you're keeping out of trouble. And we won't tell PETA about the carbon monoxide, but it's probably much more efficient and humane than taking them out one at a time. So good job for you. But this is W7MS, Whiskey 7 Mexico Sierra. I'm here for the earlies for the Collins Collectors Association. If you wish to join us, I'll add you to the list. Give me a call.
W7MS, W7MS, W6RBJ. Good evening, Mike.
Well, hi, Ron. Glad you found us. So what's... well, give us an aftershock update, please, from your QTH.
Yeah. I have my shop, my shack out in my shop, which has a separate water supply, and I discovered a couple of days ago that there was a crack in my copper pipe underground leading up here. So I've got the water shut off out here and trying to dig through the mud to find this crack to fix it. What a major pain in the butt. And with the big quakes that came in December, it took out the water tank that I have for my household water supply. It's a 2,500 gallon tank. It broke the 2-inch PVC. That took 5 days to fix. So I'm tired of this shaking, man. Although we did have a little 3.7 this morning that woke everybody up. So you ever feel that kind of stuff out there in Reno? W7MS, W6RBJ.
Well, thanks, Ron. Good signal from your location, and sorry to hear about the damage. But we did take note that you were off the air there for a few weeks following the earthquake. But I guess nothing that's fixable. But then again, a water leak issue. This is the wrong time of the year, but especially up here with snow and a hard freeze in the ground. But nothing that a jackhammer probably wouldn't handle. But that's okay, but a good signal from you. So anybody else wishing to join us?
Your station, WJ6 KF7TY.
Okay, I got you, Tapio, and I think there were 2 other stations in there. If you could space it out, W7MS.
Station, WJ6.
Any relays out there?
WJ6W is checking in.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I missed that, but got you, Dave. You're on the list, and hopefully things will improve in time, or it was just bad timing. But life's good here. So, tell you what, Tapio, take a turn. What's happening there in your? Last time we talked 2 weeks ago, it was the tropics at your place, and has that remained the same? KF7TY, W7MS.
The W7MS, KF7TY. Oh, real fine, Mike, yeah. And, no, you got a nice signal up here. And I heard WJ6W in there, too. And he had a good signal. Yeah, you're booming in here into central Washington. We're at 41 degrees right now. And for the past 2 weeks now, we've had very mild weather, even above normal temperatures. I think it was up to almost 56, 59 here a couple days ago. But we've got Arctic blast coming our way starting tomorrow. A little bit of snow flurry starting to show up. Sunday, it's going to get cold and clear and sunny, but Sunday night, they're talking single digits, 9, 4 degrees, something like that. Just Sunday, Monday night, but then just a short blast, and then it'll start warming up again, back to more normal temperatures there. So that's what's been going on up here. And just finished up dinner here. I've had the radios warmed up for a little bit. We had some salmon patties and potatoes. So I'm going to send it down to Dave, WJ6W, KF7TY.
Okay, KF7TY, WJ6W. Tapio, good copy on you. And Mike, good to hear you. Doing fine here. I think I was causing some confusion there. I had a test loop running from my computer, testing, whatever, WJ6W. And when I tried to check in, that was still running. I was working on something this afternoon, and I just left it running, so I apologize. Anyway, we're running, 52 degrees right now here in Tarzana, and it was a very beautiful day today, around 70. So I guess we're in for some cooler weather and maybe just a little rain. So back to you, Mike, W7MS, WJ6W.
Okay, well, thanks, Dave. And, plenty good. Your S9 plus 20 on that transmission. Yeah, so I heard 2 stations, and now I understand it was you and you with some time delay. But great on the temperature, and I fully understand why my parents met in Southern California, during that period of time. It's the land of milk and honey, and certainly can appreciate the temperatures. I remember working down in Southern Cal, and it was New Year's Day in the Rose Bowl, and most of the people in the hotel were there for the parade and the game. And it must have been somewhere in the high 60s, low 70s, and it was just paradise. And it was a beautiful day. I still remember that. It was because it's certainly not the case when you head up in the latitudes here and elevation-wise. It's a whole different game. So one more shout out, and then we'll read the preamble and just get this rolling. So anybody else wishing to join the West Coast Collins Collectors Association, give me a call, W7MS.
K6LK.
K7NBR.
Okay, I got you, Bill, and there was a W7. Again, please, W7.
Kilowatt Alpha 7, Nancy Baker, Roger.
Okay, that's Kilowatt Alpha 7, Nancy Baker, Roger. Name, please?
Handle is Jerry, QTH is Anaconda, as in that snake, Anaconda MT.
Okay, good, great, Jerry. You're on the list here, so you're in the rotation. Nice to meet you this evening. And, of course, we've got the Swanee, the Swan Junkie, excuse me. I also caught the YouTube video, courtesy N9AMI, that you made an actual official appearance on with a Swan radio. So, good job, Bill. But in the meantime here, let me pull out the preamble here. And Dennis was nice enough to send me a fresh copy. I still got the original. There weren't any changes. It's the correct July 2021. But I was thinking that eventually I'll end up using the backside for scrap paper, and I'll be scrambling for where is the file that contains the preamble on my computer. But he eliminated that issue. I now have 2 copies. But this is W7MS, Whiskey 7 Mexico Sierra. My name is Mike, and my location is the city of Reno, state of Nevada. Actually, a little north of town. I'm in Washoe County, but might as well make it Reno. I'll be your net control station today. Welcome to the regular Friday evening West Coast edition of the Collins Collectors Association Collins Net. We meet here every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 0200 UTC Saturday, to exchange information on Collins-related topics. We welcome questions and comments on the restoration and operation of Collins amateur military and commercial gear. You don't have to be running Collins equipment to join us. Anyone with an interest in Collins radio is welcome to check in. The purpose of the CCA is to promote the preservation, restoration, and use of Collins amateur radio equipment and to preserve the history and lore of Collins radio. In addition, we provide a technical and historical information archive to Collins radio information. The CCA is licensed by Rockwell Collins to use images, logos, manuals, and printed materials. And that would be the one question I'd have on the preamble is Rockwell Collins no longer exists as an entity, but maybe it's for legal purposes, it's still licensed to that entity. But we'll save that for the lawyers. For more information about the Collins Collectors Association, its forums, activities, services, and how to become a member, please visit our website at www.collinsradio.org. That's Collins, one word, of course, and then .org. Please help our efforts by joining the Collins Collectors Association. And I believe Dennis is vacant tonight. He's out to dinner, so we will not read the Zoom information since he's not in the shack, at least currently. So we'll save that for later. So again, one last shot here for check-ins, and then we'll start the rotation. W7MS.
W6MVM, William 6, Mike, Victor Mike.
Well, hello, Mike. A great signal. You must be at the ranch.
Oh, absolutely. We're at the ranch. I'm sorry I'm a little late checking in. We just had a West Coast treat, a Dungeness crab for dinner.
Oh, my gosh. You're usually leaving us for dinner, but I'm glad that you took you're giving us the benefit of the doubt and had dinner prior to the net, so good job, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. I'll stand by for rotation. W6MVM.
Okie dokie. Well, Mike's running the usual, the HF380, because I need something with a noise blanker. Rejection tuning or auto notch would be nice, Kevin, but at least the noise blanker eliminates that sodium mercury light issue that I have. And that's driving my home-built amplifier, home-engineered amplifier, running the Russian GU84B 4CX2500, but As a favor to possibly adjacent frequency operators, I have added another 3 dB of attenuation to the input of the amplifier, so I'm running about 1,000 watts out, and I don't have to ride my microphone gain since there's an inherent, as we all know, issue between the HF80 380 ALC and just about any amplifier that it drives. There are incompatibility issues. So this way we can hopefully maintain. Can't we just all get along? How's that? We're all just going to get along tonight. So to start this off with, we're going to start with Skip, K6LGL, then over to Kevin, WA6JKN, a good friend Andy, KD6TKX, and then we'll finish this round off with Max, KG6HN, and then back to me. So take it away, K6LGL, W7MS.
Okay, thank you, Mike. They're from Reno, Nevada, K6 Little Green Light, Santa Monica by the Bay. And let me get back on frequency. I touch the dial. There we go. We should be pretty close to 83.5. Okay, running my 902DM and into humble doublet antenna and, nothing fancy here. Yeah, there was quite a bit of activity on the frequency there, a little bit up. Good idea that they move down a little bit, the mic. And by the way, good evening to all that have checked in, and to Mike and VM, K7NBL, let's see, K6LK, WJ6W, KF7GY, W6RBJ, hello Ron, and WI6R Dave, KG6HN, and all the others there, Andy TKX, and so on. So, hey, so far propagation's not too bad. On your signal copy, you're stronger when you check into the dragnet, but could be that, another 10, 20 minutes or half an hour, and it may make a difference in the world. Propagation on 75 is. So over to you, Kevin. Good evening again, and hey, let's keep the dialogue running. K6LGL, Santa Monica by the Bay.
Well, thank you very much, Skip. I just need to know one thing. Who do I turn it to?
Turn it to Curry Mountain, KD6TKX.
Okay, got it. Good evening. This is Kevin, WA6JKN, and good old Gilroy. That's what we used to say back in the day. Drive a little, save a lot. Talking about that, Diane and I were well underway in sending things out for our big trip to Texas, and went through 48 years of documents, pay stubs, contracts, you name it, everything. And boy, I tell you what, it was nice to have access to a security bin that burns and shreds all the documents. But boy, that took 2 solid days. We were working as a team, and we got through it. So I'm happy about that. Got some good news the other day. The dimensional first articles for the tuning band straps for the KW Sugar 1 passed first article for dimensions on the CAD system, and so I went over there and signed off on it today, and so now it's going off to what do they call it? Photochemical lithography process, which is essentially what do they call it? A chemical etch. We were dealing with beryllium copper, and so they got to etch it to, everything is etched. The mounting holes, the cam slot, everything. It's going to be. I wish I was there to watch it, but I'm not going to. But this hopefully will be all done sometime next week. I could have these bands as early as next week. I asked them to make me 300 for the first production run. I may go higher later. But, I was talking to them. You talked about Collins. Do they still exist? They certainly do. I was asking that question myself. And this particular, we were talking about the design. I said, Collins designed this thing, And they go, no, they didn't. I go, what? What do you mean they didn't design it? It came out of a Collins radio. They didn't have the expertise. So they would come to people like us, and they would just basically provide us with their dimension requirements, and we would do all the science stuff and tell them what material they would need and this, that, and the other. And come to find out, this supplier. This contractor is a Collins division certified supplier for the Collins division. I guess they call it a division now of the company that bought out Rockwell. That's the way it was explained to me. I didn't get too much into it, but I'm just super excited that these copper band straps. They said that these bands are going to be better than the original design because of state of the art. Material and processes and stuff like that, so I'll take them at their word. But I thought the stainless steel bands, that they made 8 of them for the dimensional first article. And I said, well, why can't we use these? It says, well, do you want it original? In other words, if you want it to look original, then we have to go with beryllium copper. The stainless steel would work just fine, but there was a matter of getting the eyelets through the stainless steel. You can't just solder it, right? So they would have to. I said, well, you just rely on compression. He says, well, given the precision of the mechanical device, you probably don't want to do that. But we could go through a special process of getting it so it doesn't move. So I said, no, let's go with the original design. So they're off. I should get it back hopefully next week or the following week, and I'll have the TW Sugar 1 back in operation. And so there you go. I'm happy about that. Let's see. Oh, you talked about can we all just get along? That reminded me of something I heard back in 1992. His name was Rodney King. That was heard all over the world. I remember when he said that. So, that's good advice. Absolutely good advice. All right, let's get it off to Andy there. KD6 TKX on the mountain. WA6JKN.
Kevin, WA6JKN and the Collins Collectors Group. This is KD6TKX. Andy here at Prairie Mountain, about 100 miles southwest of Monterey. And let's see here. Tonight running a little different rig. It's a 80s era, maybe late 70s. Harris RF3200 T-Tango. It's a suitcase radio that Harris made. The RF3200 is repackaged into a suitcase with an auto tuner in the top lid and the rest of the radio on the bottom of the Halliburton briefcase. So, weird radios and me get along real well. So here's another one. But anyways, I'm not sure why. Maybe a little bit lazy. Didn't want to turn on anything else tonight. This thing works so good, so easy to frequency. So anyways, a great signal here tonight. All stations coming in very well. And it's been real cold up here, but clear. So nice break from the rain. We had quite an ordeal with the rains and the creek coming up and all that. But everything's fine, and we're all back in business here. So happy to be here, as they say. Let's see, Mike, thanks for running it as usual, doing a great job. And we'll just carry on here. KJ6HN, this is KD6TKX.
Alrighty then, KJ6HN here. And pretty good signal there, Andy. Let's see, looking at the list here. Skip and Kevin and you and, well, I don't know how I'm doing. I'll find out later, I suppose. But pretty good propagation this evening, and as to be expected, I get the K7RA report once a week in my inbox email, and sunspots are picking up, and solar flux is going up and down, but sunspots are picking up, and that's a good thing for propagation here on the lower bands anyway. And I'm using my Signal 1 Mil-Spec 1030 into an Alpha 77SX, talking on a D104 microphone. The usual suspect, as they say. And things are good. I ran over to check my weather station, and it's 36 degrees right now, Mike, for your information, up there in Reno. We don't get as cold as you do up there, but, we're not that far behind generally. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Let's see. The town of Darwin is doing well. We had a great social moment social hour, I should say, at the post office. It's kind of a regular thing down here. We gather up there waiting for the mail courier to bring the mail in from Lone Pine, about 35 miles away. And we talked about this and that, and water board, and the town water system is often central to the discussions, and I'm a member of the board of directors on the water board, and we're going through a lot of changes right now involving getting a new intake water tank to receive the spring water, the untreated spring water from the source, 7.5 miles away from town, and which then, when the intake tank is full and the treated water tank is low, the switches, the level sensor switches inside each one will turn the treatment tank on and do the water filtration process. And that water filtration station has not been operational we're going on like 4 years now. It's incredible. The state is handling all the contractors and subcontractors and subcontractors, and the budget, because we can't afford it, the total budget for replacement of the intake untreated water tank is now at about $500,000, if you can believe that. That includes transportation and the construction of the tank and everything. The tank is about 15,000 gallons, 15,000 gallons. So onward we go. And that's the way it is here in Darwin, California, on a Friday night, January 27th, 2023. Back to you, Mike. W7MS, KJ6810.
Well, thanks, Max. And I guess to quote someone else besides Rodney King, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. Well, we just got the facts from you, Max, and we'll comment here in a little bit. But great signal from Script. Great to hear you, and you're definitely on frequency there with the touch-up. And moving worked. It's problematic. It's a crapshoot, but so far so good. And I think we're going to pull this one off for the remainder of the hour. And fine, Kevin on the strap. I guess 300 manufactured divided by 2. So that means you'll have 150 sets. You built out for the future, and I'm sure if you're going to make one, you might as well make more. So you have quite a stockpile there, and I'm curious how you're going to market those guys. I'm sure there'll be a few folks out there that'll be very happy to obtain those because they're highly in need rather than just a spares parts cache. But good on that. Fine on the beryllium. Let's just hope is that a $500 toilet seat or a $150 hammer? I'm not quite sure what's going. Probably, but I know it's probably it's a friend-to-friend operation there. Great on A being a contractor, and fine on the Collins division. Yeah, I was aware of that, but officially Rockwell Collins is defunct. The company that portion, but we still use it on the preamble. So that was my question. And continuing issues with beryllium oxide ceramics. It always gives me the willies when I see a pile of beat-up power tubes clinking around in somebody's Home Depot plastic pail or box, abrading each other and emitting ceramic oxide particles. Well, I'm not sticking my face in that's for sure, but a lot of people are ignorant of the dangers of beryllium and beryllium oxide ceramics, and I read an article 30 or 40 years ago describing the hideous effects it has upon ingestion into one's lungs and the poison issue. So it's certainly not a very serious issue, but unknown to a lot of folks since it's not commonly out there in the environment or in one's home, but it's certainly quite active in electronics, old school power RF transistors and beryllium ceramic blocks that were used as heat sinks. That's where I discovered that issue, was when I discovered, yes, they use Healy coils in those as not to abrade the ceramic. You don't want to tap a ceramic oxide device. You cast it and machine it and install Healy coils. So right on for beryllium safety. And Andy, well, I got you great on the Harris 3200T. Sounded great. Your S9 plus 10 to 15 over, as one would expect from that great antenna that you're using. And you're on frequency too. That's a double plus. And on frequency, if the creek don't rise, that's the note that I made. So keep an eye on that creek for further news there. But a current dry spell. And Fight on the Water Company, you've mentioned that over the years. Glad to hear you're getting assistance, because I'd assume maybe you're set up as a general utility district or improvement district, a GID. And I guess trying to split those costs amongst a handful of people, it's impossible. So I'm glad that there's been a resolution and that you are the man, you are the operator for the system. Congratulations on that. So what I'm going to do is, currently 34 degrees, so we're neck to neck on the indications of our weather stations. So let me give a shout out here. Anybody else wishing to join the Collins Collectors Association net here on 3893.5, give W7MS a call. Nothing heard. Any relays? Okay, here we go for the second list. Wayne, over to you, KB60QJ. Over to Dave, who's enjoying the warm weather, WI6R. Ron, W6RBJ, who's not shaking currently. And then we can finish that up with the Swan Junkie, Bill, if he's still here, K6LK, and then Bill back to me. So take it away, W7MS.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mike. And signals overall are pretty decent tonight. Everybody's, it's hard to say, I play S8, S9, but there's a fair amount of bad noise and, just a hint on some signals of QRM. So it's a pretty good night, radio-wise. Let's see, I'm running the S line tonight, 32S3, 75S3C. I'm sorry, looking at the wrong radio. I'm running the KWM2A and the 312B5 and the 30L1, so put out about 600-700 watts into the inverted Z. So anyhow, our weather we're talking about, we were down, not nearly as cold as you guys, but we were getting down in the low 30s a few days ago at night, and highs in the low 50s. But the last couple of days been mid to high 60s, and right now we're at 49. So it's actually kind of nice. There hasn't been much wind. The breeze makes it feel a lot colder when it gets down into the 50s. And so you guys, talking about heat. Our gas bill, the gas rate literally doubled from December to January. So that was quite a bill we got here for January. So we're watching the gas a little bit. And let's see what else is going on. Oh yeah, Mike, you were asking me about projects. The one thing I did mention was I've been throwing off a bunch of the old rigs, and I bought a K4, Craft K4. And I'll be darned if, I don't know, I may have to actually read the manual. I can figure a few things out, but there's a lot of buttons and a lot of menu items, so I'm going to have to probably break down and read the manual. Other than that, and if anybody's interested, it's kind of a small group tonight, but I'm selling my 30S1. And it
runs well, but I just don't really need that much power anymore. I've got my, I'm saying my 30S one, yeah. I got my 3001, and that's enough power for most of the stuff I'm doing. It takes up a lot less space. And that's about it for now. So keep going for a few days, WI6R. Maybe we should focus in on you, Dave.
Yeah, thanks real fine, Wayne. Good copy up here in Kingman, and matter of fact, everybody's pretty good copy. But Mike, I think someone near me must have inherited one of those lamps that is giving you fits, because just after you turned it over to me, the F meter went up to about S7 with some horrible noise. So, yeah, it's around. I'm not sure where this one is. We have a pretty small area here, and not too many green lights that I've seen in the neighborhood, but hey, it might be. So we'll have to look at that. Good to hear Andy in there tonight, and all of our usual suspects. One of the things that I've done since our last get together is I finally took my KWS-1 and put it on the workbench and took the covers off to see what I have inside. I'm very happy to report it's absolutely as pristine on the inside as it is on the outside. It's a very early one, serial number 251. So it definitely needs the 7 deadly pumps replaced. But now I'm really encouraged to go in and clean up the power supply and start getting it back together and on the air. So that's really pretty much what's going on here. We had a beautiful, warm, 55-degree sunny day today. Pretty nice considering a week ago we had snow on the ground. So it's looking up, but of course we're going to be back down into the 20s again tonight. So with that, let me pass it over to Ron, W6RBJ and the group from WI6R.
Okay, fine business, Dave, WI6R and the group W6RBJ. The rig here tonight is my trusty old KWM2 with a 312D5, a 3001, and using the old MM1 microphone just for good times, and into the high gain high tower. So we're omnidirectional. Good conditions. The lowest signals are about in the S8 to S9 range, and most people are about 15 over. Kevin, you win the lottery here. You're 30 over up here in the Redwoods. The weather here has been beautiful until today. The clouds rolled in, and although it didn't rain, it got real cold. Boy, when that sun isn't shining down with some radiant heat, it can really get to you. But then I'm a wimp. See, I don't live where it snows, so when it's down in the high 40s, I start wimping out. When you guys talk about having to use jackhammers to get through the ice, I really do start to shudder. But other than that, things are pretty mellow. I've got projects, as I was telling Mike earlier, with problems with water systems that haven't handled the issues with earthquakes too well. But at least the water isn't frozen. It's still liquid. But other than that, as soon as that gets done, I'm going to dive into a couple of radio projects. I've got a 75S1 down here that I'd love to get back on the air. The tuning is really stiff on it, and I don't know if it's the reduction needs lubrication or if the VFO has gotten stiff. I did rebuild one of those a long time ago, and when they get caked up with that lubricant inside, they really can get stiff. So that's one thing I'll be breaking into to find out. So that's about the story from the Redwoods. We'll send it on down to Bill. Hope he's hearing me. And see how things are going. So K6LK and the group W6RBJ.
Yeah, W6RBJ, K6LK. Yeah, thanks for turning it over there to me. I'll keep it short. Just wanted to say hello to Mike, W7MS, and comment on the audio. as far as Collins Radio goes, my first experience with Collins radios was when I saw an S-line that a guy had, back around 63. And it was just a beautiful radio. Of course, I always remember that. And over the years, lusted after it, and had some Collins equipment along the way. I'm kind of technically challenged these days, and I think Collins radios are very complicated, being dual conversion and all. You've got to know what you're doing to work your way around them. But they're a beautiful radio. They're very well built. I would say. To military standards, at least to my standards of what a radio should be, wow, they were really nice. All the terminals were wrapped and everything. Wanted to also thank Kevin there for that information regarding the vacuum variable. I'm working on a magnetic antenna. I'm going to use a smaller vacuum variable. I'm not going to use it for transmitting. I think that's when you need the big one there, Kevin, like you've got. But I've got a smaller one. I'll send you a photo of it. Anyway, back there to you, Mike. I don't know who it goes to. I just walked into the room, had a late dinner. You know how that goes. W7MS, K6LK.
Well, thank you, Bill. Great reception, and you're so humble. But we'll get to you in a second here. We'll start off with a few comments at the top of the list here, at the top of this series of rotation. But great Wayne on the project. And the 30S1, that's for sale. Heads up. Wayne is marketing the 30S1. I also made a note that he's going to crack a manual. He's going to put on the readers and do some research there. So it always helps. And I got a story with my pellet stove where I reread the manual the other day and went, oh, you're supposed to take those little covers off and vacuum that part of it out. I wonder why my draft had died. And I wasn't getting quite the burn that I wanted. And, well, that's where I paid to read the manual. Gosh darn it, 9 years later, we figured that one out. So it's always good to read. And Ron, great, doing well with the M2 and the 30L1 and future projects. But and dry grease, dry lubrication, not good. And with a little bit of sarcasm, I guess I could say, Doctor, heal thyself. Could help that one, but I'm sure you'll. That's in the near future. And now for Bill, he's being so humble. Just little old Bill. Well, Bill knows quite a bit. He knows a whole lot, and he's just being self-effacing, to use that big terminology. I don't think he would be befuddled with a double conversion Collins radio whatsoever, but right now he's just infatuated with the Swan lineage and collecting the catalog, and that's great, Bill, but don't be so humble. In 1963, oh my gosh, yes, you old timers, but then again, it's all relative, isn't it? But with that, we got two left on the list, and then I'll take a shout out for any other check-ins. So we've got Jerry, KA7 NBR, and thank you for your patience. And then over to Mike at the Radio Ranch, W6MVM, and then back to me, Mike, W7MS. Well, does anybody hear Jerry, NBR?
Jerry, K6MBR, W6MBM.
Well, I guess it's to you, Mike.
Oh, well, thanks, Mike. K7MS and the group, W6MBM. Yeah, kind of tail in Charlie tonight. We're here, as you said, at the ranch with the S-line, 1959 S1 line, and a beat-up old Vietnam War 3001. I mean, it is. The outside of it's beat up. The front face looks beautiful, and it runs beautifully. It's one of two I have. Also, very interested in those copper beryllium straps. I have two KWS-1s, and we're moving them over here to the ranch. I'm not sure I have any broken straps in there, but I got to check. Sometimes it runs a little rough on the tuning. A lot runs a little rough. Anyway,
So very interested in that. I saw discussions of that on the reflector, and it was very good. We're here at the ranch, moving here to the ranch permanently from going to sell the Soulsbyville house and locate here. We also have our cabin at Pinecrest, which we run from. Tomorrow is Winter Field Day. We're going to do Winter Field Day as K6TUO out of Columbia State Park here. Going to take a CW rig up there, an 817 and a HL50, just a low power one, run maybe 20 watts if we use the Alex loop, maybe a little more if we run a long wire. Anyway, we're going to be up there starting at 11 o'clock and running until maybe 2, 3 in the afternoon. So, great fun for that, and I'm looking forward to it. And actually, I just want to say this S-line here is the main rig at the ranch. We use it for almost all nets and a lot of general conversation. Usually do CW on a flex. We do have the S3 line here, which I love for CW, but the transmitter's acting up, and I got to get in there and dig into it, which I will be doing in the next week or so. But the big project is to empty out the Soulsbyville house, move the two KWS ones and 375A4s over here. Also the Johnson Ranger. I have a A4 and a Ranger set up over there, which I love to use. I used to use it from here, too, to get on AM nets. But anyway, enough said. Back to you, Mike. Thanks for running the net tonight. W7MS, W6MBM.
Well, thanks, Mike, and my apologies to Dave, WJ6W. You dropped off the bottom of the sheet, but over to you and then back to me, Dave. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Mike. Thank you. W7MS, WJ6W. Yeah, no problem. Boy, it's enjoyable net tonight. Just great listening to everybody. And let's see, we're running the KWM2 tonight and 30L1, 312B5. I guess this is the popular setup. I think I'm the third guy with that setup running tonight. And let's see, well, a few comments. On earthquakes. We had one down here the other day. It woke us up about 2 in the morning. It was strong enough to wake us up, but it was one shot, and that's all we felt. But I heard in the news later there were a number of aftershocks, but I guess they were not strong enough for us to notice. It was off the coast in the water off Malibu, a few miles. Anyway, it was 4 or something. So nothing major, but enough to wake us up. I see, Max. Very good on your water situation. Boy, it's been a long time coming. Probably will still be a long time before you're all set, but that's been quite an ordeal. I know you've had to drive every week for bottled water for years now, so hopefully that gets worked out soon. And Wayne, on the gas bill, yeah, ours didn't quite double this month, but the previous month was the highest bill we'd ever had, and now it's almost doubled. So yeah, that's something. It's very interesting since the general, I guess, world price or whatever of natural gas has dropped through the floor. It's actually very low. So very curious. Hopefully it'll be going down soon here. Well, let's see. I've been cleaning up the wiring here in the shack, and I've been trying to straighten it out so it's not such a big ball of wire. I have a mixer here, and it has like 20 or 30 wires in it, and I straightened all those out, and that took a few days to untangle everything, and wouldn't you know it, when I put things together and started testing things, something broke. My limiter to the AM transmitter, the audio limiter, the outputs quit. And I didn't even have it on during all this wire rewiring stuff. So that was very strange, but I took it apart and I found that the output control potentiometer of the pot was open. So anyway, I guess the rule there is don't mess with anything because you'll break something else. All right, let me send it back to you then, Mike. Let's see, was Tapio in here? I remember hearing him earlier, but I didn't write him down. Anyway, W7MS, WJ6W.
Well, thank you, sir. Yeah, I think we had Tapio after Ron, if I haven't made a mistake. Tapio, we did get you, didn't we?
No, you didn't. I've been waiting my turn, but that's okay. I don't mind being down here on the bottom end.
Go ahead. My apologies, boy. I'm scribbling this on a rancid sheet of paper. I'm not doing a good job here, so go ahead.
That's okay. It's all casual. I was just sitting here making notes and everything anyway. And KF7TY, Ellensburg, Washington. And where it's about 40 degrees this evening. And a lot of great comments, a lot of great projects. And Mike, the pellet stove, we have one here too. I end up vacuuming that out about every 2 weeks and pulling all that little shutters and all those metal pieces out, vacuuming it out. But it's been serving us well for the past 15 years here, so we really like it. Let's see, what else we got? Man, everybody's got great signals. Skip, Kevin, Andy, Max. They go right down the list here. Wayne, Dave, Ron, Bill, and Dave. Yeah, everybody's got great signals. Rig here is a KWM2A 312B5 and the 30 Sugar one here. And the same one that sounds like Wayne's going to put up for sale. Nice piece of equipment. It just sits here and just loafs along. And I love this thing. I bought this in Colorado. We took wife and I took a trip all the way to Colorado and bought this from a elderly ham and had to drag it out of his basement and up some stairs and refurbish it and everything. But it's really nice. Let's see. Warm weather down there, Dave. Kevin on the beryllium strap. That's cool. And, if you're making a whole bunch of extras, put me on the list there, too. We've got a few sets of those Gold Dust Twins up here, too, so it's always nice to have a spare set of those just in case. The beryllium. I remember coming across that about, 6, 7, 8 years ago. I had a really nice Heathkit SB230 amplifier, and it used an 8873 iMac tube in it, and it had that beryllium heat sink in it. And I didn't put the kit together. It was put together by somebody else, and I purchased it and used it for about a year or so. Super quiet. Of course, no cooling fan. Just use that beryllium heat sink in there, and it was a nice amplifier. But it just didn't jive with me, and had too many pieces of equipment, so I ended up selling that. But I remember that, Had a big warning sticker on the back, too, that said, don't mess with it, don't drill in it, don't breathe the dust, don't do any of that. So I remember that. Nice amplifier. And the other thing I wanted to say was I saw the green comet this morning. So I think this weekend I'm going to get out the telescope and try to look at it. We live out in the country, and before I went to work, I laid down in the driveway with a pair of 10 by 50 binoculars and started looking for it where it is near the Big Dipper. And I did find it, but it's, it's not your classic Halley's Comet with the comet and the coma and the beautiful tail streaking across the sky. It looked more like a smudge up there, and that's what it's described as now. And if I had to hunt it down with the naked eye, I couldn't find it. I really needed a pair of binoculars. So I found it, but I wasn't really super impressed with it compared to comets that have come by Earth in the past. But it was at least cool to see. I'm going to give it a go this week and maybe this weekend and put the big telescope on it and see if it looks any more impressive. Over to you, Mike. W7MS, KF7TY.
Well, thanks, Tapio. And I think if you were passive aggressive, you would get my call sign wrong as a payback. But appreciate it. Appreciate your patience. And I've tried to. I'm drawing this on some old throwaway printer refuse paper rather than a lined page. So. And I'm not a straight edge guy, freeform. I've got to have the straight edge built into the paper, so it's I'm just totally confused. But as I like to say, it's only amateur radio, so I'm definitely proving that tonight. W7MS, Mike and Reno. Well, a few comments to Bill with your Winterfest station in Columbia. Could I have the call sign again, and we'll take a listen, see if we can hear you. So what was the call sign you'll be using?
This is Mike, W6MDM. We will be using our club call sign, the Tuolumne County Amateur Radio and Electronics Societies is K6TUO, just like Tuolumne. K6TUO, and it's a good chance to work Tuolumne County, too, as you're doing right now anyway. W6MDM.
Well, there's always an opportunity, Mike, so that's great. And appreciate your comments in Columbia State Park. I'm proud to announce that I was married there in Columbia at the old historic Catholic cemetery. It's not cemetery, Freudian slip. Catholic church. That was great. And I guess it owes the fact that it's the oldest brick church, because one could mention that there are probably a lot of other Catholic edifices in the state of California that date back to the Spanish and Mexican era, but I guess it rates from the Gold Rush era that it's actually made out of brick, so it qualifies as the oldest Catholic brick church. Of course, now a historic monument there in Columbia. So great on Columbia, and it looks like it'll be a good operating event tomorrow with acceptable wintertime weather for Winterfest Field Day. So let me see. Great, Dave, on the truism. I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But there you are, rearranging and straightening things out, and things happen. But certainly not unusual. And most of us here, we're all retired, most of us. So it gives us, when that happens, it gives us something to do, or at least an excuse to take a break and say, maybe tomorrow we'll get back to this after we take a break, but that's great. And Tapio, great on the, I'm a little confused because there's all this press report about the near miss of the asteroid. What was it, 2,500 miles out as it glanced over Earth. But of course, the official said that even though it was the size of a large truck, as described in the article I read, that it would have burnt up upon entering the Earth's atmosphere. But I guess if you were in the right spot on Earth, it would have been an exciting light show. So I think we're talking two different things. The green asteroid that you've mentioned versus the meteorite paths near to Earth here, what was that, yesterday, day before? But it's all good. And certainly for me, and I think most of the folks on frequency, was Halley's Comet. And reading that all through as a child and in history books and artists' renditions and pictures of Halley's Comet. And of course, for our generation, it was known as Old Disappointment. So it's all a crapshoot. But enjoy your viewing on that. So with that, we'll just take a short one here. Anybody else wishing to join the Collins Collectors Association, give me a call, W7MS.
Whiskey 6 Delta Quebec, W6DQ, and
Kilo Foxtrot 6 Quebec November Golf.
Whiskey 0 Juliet Alpha Mike.
Whiskey Alpha 6 Juliet Bravo Delta.
Okay, I've got the husband and wife team back from dinner. We'll get to you in a moment, because if you're really well satisfied from your dinner out, we don't want to have you drifting off into nighty-night time. And we got Mike, W0JAM, and K6JBD, and we'll all get to you guys here in the next couple of minutes. We won't save you for last because that would not be fair. So, boss, W6DQ, and the boss's boss, KF6QNG, take a turn it down to Arizona to Mike, W0JAM. And JAM, turn it to JBD, WA6JBD, and then back to me, W7MS. Go ahead, Dennis.
All right, Mike. Well, good evening to you and everybody in the net. W6DQ here, Dennis Dinio Kern. Ooh, I'm hitting it a little hard there. Let me see. Get rid of that. Maybe that'll be a little cleaner. Let's see. I can back that off a little bit. We're on a different radio tonight. Going to try something different. Another antique, but not so antique. It's my Yaesu FT1000 Delta. We're using that tonight with the Alpha 87. Let's see. And I don't know. What are we putting out? It's supposed to be reading peak watts. It's not. Let's see. Yeah, I can get a little bit more out of this thing. Let's see if I can get this up a little bit. But anyway, there we go. That's where it should be. About like that. And it looks good on the scope. So there we go. Anyway, yeah, it's nice. We had a nice dinner. It's the first time, actually last week was the first time we've been able to get together with our friends for quite a while with the pandemic. We just haven't been going out to restaurants with everybody. But one of the guys, the couple got back in town and decided to see if we could resurrect the old group that we had every Friday. So we got together last week. We got together again this week. Had a very lovely dinner at an Asian place in Ridgecrest. Wasn't sure if I'd make it back here in time, but got back in time at least for part of the net. So next week I will be running the net, and I will not be going to dinner. So I'll be having dinner here. We'll just stick around. But for right now, it's worked out okay. Let's see. What else? Yeah, we're using that. Like I said, we're using the FT1000D that I've had for many years. And nice radio. It's one of my favorites, and I'm really glad that I got it back on the air. It's running through the horizontal loop. And the horizontal loop is using an HF Auto Palstar tuner with that out to the tuner's connected up to a 4-to-1 balun out to the ladder line out to the loop. And man, I really like that antenna. It works really great. Whoa. I still don't know what's going on here. I'm still trying to get the levels right. Anyway, Mike, thanks so much for running the net tonight. Appreciate that. And next week, I hope to get the S-Line or the KWM2A back on the air. The S-Line was acting up the last couple of weeks. I haven't been able to get any RF out of the 32S3A, so I got to put that on the bench. And I got the KWM2. I fired it up the other day, and it wouldn't work. But however, yesterday, it did. So I got to make a cable to tie it back into the system here, adding some stuff here. So I got my work cut out for me to get that thing going in the system again. But anyway, with that, I want to say hi to Mel. Nice to hear you on here again at the WA6JBD. And my friend from San Bernardino Microwave Society. So it's really cool when you pop in here. So over to Lisa, KF6QNG and the Collins Net W6DQ.
Okay, thank you, Dennis, and thank you, Mike, for running the show and keeping things going while we were out having fun. So anyway, well, me being the boss's boss, yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, I think we're co-bosses here. So, but when it comes to the radio room, he's definitely the boss. So that's as it should be. So he worked hard to put all of this together, and we just folded. Sorry.
Try it again.
Okay. Hopefully, still making it. Anyway, okay, well, we're having difficulties here. So, back to you, Mike. W7MS from KF6QNG.
Okay, well, thanks, Lisa. And I have the same issue with my foot switch, so don't feel bad. So over to Mike, and then hand it over to Mel, Mike. So take it away, W0JAM, W7MS.
very fine, Mike. Good signals down here. In fact, everybody has a good signal. I'm real happy on nights like this when propagation is there and it's not a strain and it's not difficult. So, yep, this is Mike, 20 miles west of Phoenix in Levine, and running as always, the round emblem Collins, 32S3, 75S3. That's 3C, and I got a 312B4 in there, which is kind of helpful. It's barefoot, running about 100 watts out to a dipole about 30-35 feet up. So I have the other set. This is my Friday night set, and it's always tuned for 80 meters. I get into a few other discussions on this band, but then on Sunday and the weekend I have the KWM 380 and the 30 Sugar one on the Log Cryotic. So, yep, good signals tonight. I'm happy for that. Here in Phoenix, well, it's cold for us guys, us people down here in the valley. It's 51 degrees right now. And, we've had a couple of overnight lows where it actually froze. And, yeah, it happens, but it's kind of unusual. But later this week it's going to warm up, and we'll be back in the mid to upper 60s. It's those overnight lows that kind of hurt. I have to fire up the furnace in the morning and heat the house up a bit. So, yeah, life is so difficult here. Hi. Well, there was a nice discussion on the archives, Collins Archives this week with the beryllium oxide strips, and yeah, there's a lot to know there. That's kind of interesting, and my ears kind of perk up when my eyes perk up when I see that, because I have a KWM2A at my other house that I'll be bringing here, and somehow, I don't know how it happens, but the strip has a fold in it. It has a crease. And it works, and it's okay, except until that crease goes over the top of the roller, and then it goes boink, and it kind of jumps a little bit in frequency. So I've been debating for a long time, should I fix it, or should I, it works, should I just leave it go? But, I'm going to fix it. That's the way it's going to work. So, actually, that's the news here. I've been working a little bit out in the garage in this cold weather. I have a car that I'm working on. It's been working on it for years and years, but it's starting to go back together, and that's always a high point because I plan to actually drive the car before I expire. Hi. So that's the news. Hello, my microphone pulled the plug out. We're Romero, so W6JBD from Whiskey Zero, Juliet off the mic.
All right, very good. W0JAM in the group, WA6JBD in Mel in Upland, California. And hello to Dennis. Good to hear you on there. I'm running a Collins S-Line tonight, 32S3 and a 75S3B into a Dentron hard to find DTR 1200L, and running about 600 watts here right now, so it's a nice little setup. I previously mentioned last week, I guess, Collins radios are a fairly recent acquisition, and just recently got them on the air. Had to rebuild the power supply and do a little minor repair on the transmitter and so on. And I'm noticing it still has a couple of little glitches, a couple of spots on the band switch are intermittent, so I'll have to look in and see what's going on. I'm actually transmitting on 3895 with the transmitter band switch in the 3.6 meg position. For some reason that works better, but there you go. And don't have a whole lot to add here, just been listening to the background. I wear multiple hats. Dennis mentioned Microwave Society, so I play on 10 gigahertz a lot and do a lot of building on playing with the tiny wave stuff. And I am currently editing an operations manual for a little repeater system that I'm involved in. It's about a 250-page book. and I've got a publishing deadline coming up here, so I've been spending most of my free time in book editor hell, and so as soon as I get done here, I'm gonna be back to that. I got a couple more weeks of work on that. It goes off to the printer, and I think Dennis probably knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's all I got here. Everything's working pretty good. Nice signals from everybody, and Dennis, your audio popped up pretty loud at first, and then just dropped down a couple of times, so you got something going on there. But even when you were in the fault condition, I was still able to hear you. But that's all I got, guys. This is WA6JBD, and I think it goes back to W7MS at this point.
Okay, well, thanks, Mel. And just to disappoint you, we're actually on 3893.50 tonight, not 95.00. So correct your hairline there, your cuticle. But I know it's no big deal. Just joking with you there. But nice to hear the S line, and it sounded mighty fine into Reno. Your S9 plus 10, and doing quite well with your 600 watts. And then we've got Dennis on the FT1000D. I would certainly say, yes, it's really a classic receiver, a transceiver, I should say, and was the epitome of that form or evolution of a transceiver from Japan. Certainly a nice radio. I've worked on one years ago, but so I got to play with it, so I'm somewhat familiar, but I've never owned one. But it's too many radios, so little time. But certainly is well worthy of being on the Collins Net. Sounds great. Not quite sure what was going on with Lisa, whether it was push to talk or something else, but we got 99% of her transmission there, so it's all good. Fine on being post-COVID and being able to socialize and not socialize without paranoia. It took a little while for folks to relax and not give each other the evil eye. I still give the evil eye occasionally out in public when somebody's hacking into their hands, and it's you see, you can't help but being slightly paranoid. I don't want to touch what they touch because they were just doing what they did. But other than that, it's nice to have enjoy some degree of normalcy where it's luck of the draw. It's a crapshoot, but not the way it was over the past few winters. And again, for Mike, yeah, working on that Corvette. So I would assume when it's up and running, you need to go on a road trip and do an eyeball visit with all the members on frequency here. You can take a tour in the vet, because I'm sure you'll have that roadworthy well before your expiration date, whether it be your driver's license or the other expiration date. So looking forward to that. And Mel, well, we'll let you get back to proofing the submittal there to the publisher, but good deal on that. Fine on microwave. I know you and Dennis are quite active in that in the amateur radio realms, and also I think for you in the work realm. So. And other folks on frequency who formerly did that in their work lives, whoever that might be. But with that, I think we're running towards the top of the hour. So I think if we run into the standard situation is everybody have a 73 round and say and keep it short. Well, guess what? That's impossible with amateur radio. I think we'll be here till 9. But what I'm going to do is just close the net out. And if anybody wishes to pipe up, call a station, comment, feel free. But I think we're going to bag it, because I've already gotten a C- tonight for rotational disturbances. So we don't want to push it, because we're getting into the area that I may have some extra homework to do here. So this is W7MS. I'm going to close out the West Coast edition of the Collins Collectors Association Net for this Friday. It's been fun. Enjoyed it. Always enjoy it. And we'll probably be here next week, because Dennis is going to be running the net. So with that, this is W7MS, Mike and Reno saying 73.